very famous people, as I have, powerful people. And one of the things you notice is how insecure people often are in terms of whatever level of financial or whatever status. Often there's a sense of insecurity because that might either be lost or I don't really know who I am. And as I look at this world, I'm wondering how we support, particularly our younger generation, in knowing who they are so that these gadgets or the things, they're like toys. They're not like their self. And I think one of the biggest challenges all of a sudden is that I think that's me, right? Like that profile or that post is me versus like I know who I am and that's just a tool that I'm using or not using. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and so is there a way that we can cultivate, and maybe it's through meditation practice, but is there a way that we can cultivate in ourselves and in young people a sense of knowing who we are independent of whatever the external world tells us?
This is being aware of reality without being too quick to judge it, to like it or to dislike it, to want it to disappear or to want it to increase. And this image of the people going with the smartphone, with the screen, you know, this is basically going back to the Greek myth of Narcissus, which is set on and
it's a mirror.
This is Narcissus. And you have images,
Narcissus,
even
yeah.
from ancient Greece, depicting Narcissus like that. And like we have then the whole world going into that mode.
Yeah.
And to be, you know, and the impact on mental health, like one very important or very interesting research I've seen recently is comparing the mental health of different professions. And the profession that came at the very bottom, the very, very bottom of mental health was politicians.
Shocking.
Which is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Because we need these people to have good mental health. It's a very important profession.
Yeah.
And we are making it almost impossible for healthy, sane people who want well-being in life to be in that profession. Yeah. And there are many reasons for that, but one reason is, again, that you need to be constantly on.
Yeah.
There is never a single moment that you can be off.
Yeah.
That because the news cycle is always on, there is always something that is happening. And again, it goes back to the no moment of silence because everything is so important. Mm-hmm. There was just now this story in the UK about whether the Prime Minister should go on the summer vacation with his family or not. And obviously he should, right. You know, but he's so important and there are so many important things happening in the world. So some people say, no, he should be on all the time, which is humanly impossible. Yeah. And it happens, of course, not just to politicians, but to everybody. Yeah. You know, if you think about teenagers in school, so previously status competition was something that happened only some times of the day. Mm-hmm. Like you go to school, you go to the schoolyard, there is status competition. Then you go home, you shut the door, and that's it. You have some time off from status competition. Now, status competition is always on. At any moment, something can happen, I can say something, somebody can say something, which has an impact on my status. And
talking about online.
Yeah. And similarly, it's like life becomes this very long, never-ending job interview. That anything you do at any moment has an impact on your chances of getting a job 5, 10, 20 years to the future. Like you did something stupid but legal in some college party when you're 18, 20 years down the line, when you want to be a judge or you are a politician or you're a journalist, this comes out.
The algorithms find it.
Yeah, I mean, there is no longer any kind of private moment. And part of what we know also from meditation is that the mind is full of garbage and junk and stupidity. And we need space for that.
Yeah. Is that why you meditate 2 hours a day?
Yeah, I mean, there is so much garbage inside. And, you know, when you go and you speak on a stage in front of people, you have a big responsibility. You have to be very careful about what you say, because your words are like seeds that go into the minds of lots of people. And if you say something hateful, then you encourage hate in the minds of many other people. And especially politicians, Like you say something on television, millions of people hear it, it goes in their mind. You're like spreading hate in the world.
Yeah.
But in
So you
this
have to be
moment, let me
extremely
just stop
careful.
you. You're doing the exact opposite right now in this moment. We all are taking responsibility for the exact opposite of that. And it's not just the people in this room, but there are also the live stream, and it's like nothing ever like disappears anymore. It just
Exactly.
migrates to YouTube.
So we have to be extremely careful.
But it's also what my point is that it's also a certain kind of a transmission or a reminder or a recognition to whoever is watching, listening, that you're more than you think you are. You're greater than your thoughts, and you're greater than the kind of seductions that we're all so easily susceptible to. That if you shut off your phone or shut off your devices or didn't interface with ChatGPT, that it's not like you're less than. You are completely whole as you are. And when you start to integrate that using, yoga, meditation, sports, any kind of engaged, body-grounded process that reminds you of your analog, mysterious wholeness, then could that not be a kind of antidote in the domain of mental health and medicine for the kinds of interfaces that we inevitably have to have with the digital world and with AI? I think that, and the Surgeon General is promoting that, just in terms of the loneliness epidemic, that everybody's connected and everybody's lonelier than can be and have very low self-esteem.